Hi there, Richard Fulmer here. Welcome to another Richard's Rock Rambles on this freezing cold day here in Cape Town. So today we're going to have a look at a guy who for me is probably one of the most iconic guitarists in the world. We're talking about Jeff Beck, along with Jimmy Page, Peter Green. Those guys, he wrote the book for guitar. I mean, along with Hendrix and a couple of others. Very unique style. Doesn't use a guitar pick, just uses the fingers, which makes it even more incredible. Has played mostly Les Pauls and Strats in his time, I think. The last 10 or 20 years, I think it's mainly been Strats. So he was born in England, in Surrey, on the 24th of June, 1944, which makes him 77. So he's getting on a bit. His early career break was as a member of the Yardbirds, which of course featured Eric Clapton and Jimmy Page. Jimmy Page and Beck played for a brief time together in the band. Jeff Beck replaced Eric Clapton. He left and he took over, and I thought he was an amazing replacement. Different style altogether, a lot more aggressive in his playing. And just a very innovative guitarist. He's always excited me. You know, he's never gone along with the norm. He's never followed the pack. He's always done his own thing. Other notable bands that he was in, the Jeff Beck Group, and then also Beck, Bogert and a Piece. Carmen Appice and Tim Bogert, who were in the band called Vanilla Fudge, and that broke up and they formed this band with Jeff Beck. Not a very long career. I think they did one studio album called Beck, Bogert and a Piece. Pretty raw sounding album, which I think could have done with a better production, but nonetheless they didn't last very long. He's got some other interests besides playing amazing music. He's really into building hot rods, especially Ford hot rods. And he's a winner of 8 Grammy Awards, which isn't too shabby. I mean, if you consider most of those Grammys are just instrumentals, because he's not known for doing a lot of vocal stuff on his albums. Although latter day there has been quite a bit of vocals. There are a couple of DVDs that one can get. Live at the Hollywood Bowl is quite recent. And he appears on a lot of the Eric Clapton Crossroads DVDs. Being a good friend of Eric, he's always on those Crossroads DVDs, and they're pretty good. Then there's a really good documentary called Still on the Run from 2018. I don't have that, but I have seen it. It really is good, and it gives you the whole career from how he started, the change in direction that he had, because you'll see he started out more in a pop band with the Yardbirds. And then he went into the sort of blues rock thing. Then he was into jazz rock fusion. He's done everything, and he's been proficient in whatever genre of rock or subdivision of rock that he's done, if you like. I don't have all of his albums, but some of the ones I don't have that are quite notable are Beck Ola from 1969, Jeff Beck's Guitar Shop from 89. I think he won a Grammy for that album. Emotion and Commotion from 2010, where he does an amazing instrumental version of Nessun Dorma, which of course is Pavarotti was famous for singing that tune. And then the most recent one called Loud Hailer from 2016, which was a great album. Very modern, very up to date. And he's always kept up with the times as well. He's never been left behind, and yet still just doing his own thing. Excuse me. So let's get cracking and I'll show you what I have. So we're going to go all the way back to 1968, and this is with the Jeff Beck Group and the album called Truth. If you want to start collecting Beck, of the early stuff, the first two, this one and Beck Ola, are great albums. Features Ron Wood on bass and a very young Rod Stewart on vocals. So yeah, got some serious pedigree. Some of the hits off here: Shapes of Things, that was quite a big hit. Let Me Love You, Morning Dew is a great track. You Shook Me, Led Zeppelin stole that one, according to Jeff. Old Man River, Green Sleeves, you can see there's a few covers on here. Beck's Bolero, that's a great track, really great guitar work on there. Blues Deluxe, I Ain't Superstitious, of course that's the Stevie Wonder number, and he really does a great version on here. This is the deluxe remastered, digitally remastered, not deluxe, with some bonus tracks. And you get about 3, 6, 7 bonus tracks on here, including the song that he hated, which became a big hit for him, Hi Ho Silver Lining, which isn't really Jeff Beck. But he had a hit, so he had to go with it, and of course people wanted to hear it. Rock My Plimsoll is another great track on here. Tallyman and Love Is Blue. And this is a EMI release. Just want to see if there's anything I can show you inside. If I can get the insert out. So there's a very young Jeff Beck over there. And that's a very, very young Rod Stewart. And there's Ron Wood, who of course landed up with the Rolling Stones. And there's another shot of Jeff playing a Les Paul. His early career was mostly Les Pauls, and then he changed to Strats. So the next one I want to show you, I have this Sony box set. It's on the original album classic series. It's 5 CDs. Well, that's what it looks like. So the next one I want to chat about is the Jeff Beck Group, or otherwise known as the Orange album. You can see there's the orange at the top. And this is also a great lineup. Max Middleton on piano, Bob Tench on vocals, a very soulful voice, Jeff Beck on guitars, and Cozy Powell on drums, and Clive Chan on bass. Excellent album. Some of the great tracks on here, this little writing is so small. Ice Cream Cakes, that was a great track. Glad All Over, Twilight, Sugar Cane, that's amazing guitar stuff from Jeff Beck on that album. On that track. Yeah, those are the standout ones on this album. So that was just called the Jeff Beck Group. Then, show you a couple of he did a lot of jazz rock fusion. Worked with Jan Hammer as well. Of course, he was with the Mahavishnu Orchestra. Before I show you that one, there's another one with the Jeff Beck Group. The previous one I showed you, the same lineup. And if you look at Cozy Powell, where's Cozy? There's Cozy Powell, and there's Jeff. Could be brothers, very similar looking. In fact, they were sometimes mistaken for one for the other. Got the Feeling is a good track. Situation, Short Business, Max's tune, that's Max Middleton. New Ways, and Jody. I think out of these two, I kind of like that one a little more. It's got some drumming from Cozy Powell is amazing. And of course, he would go on to play for just about everybody and their uncle. So the two that are jazz rock fusion albums that are really essential if you're into that kind of styling is Blow by Blow. That's that one there. And Wired, also great album. And these came out in the early 70s or mid 70s. Goodbye Pork Pie Hat from Wired, that's a good track. Blue Wind, Love is Green, Lead Boots, amazing instrumental. Max Middleton still in the band, Jan Hammer on synthesizer, Jeff Beck on guitar. There's quite a few lineup changes on here as well. You have different people on drums, Richard Bailey. I'm just trying to see who else is on here. Jan Hammer appears a few times. And Narada Michael Walden on piano, and I think he currently plays drums for Journey, so he's also been around. And I think he also appears with them on one of the Crossroads DVDs that Eric Clapton did. And then, of course, there's the great live album with Jan Hammer. You can see there's the shot of the guys. There's Jan Hammer over there. And they do a lot of the tracks from these two albums. Also great blues rock, jazz rock fusion. Then we jump quite a few years ahead to 1999, an album called Who Else? Jeff Beck sitting, looking quite sad. I think he's just noodling on the guitar there. And that's him having a doze in the back. So what do we have on here? What Mama Said is a good track. Psycho Sam. Brush with the Blues is an amazing blues instrumental. I mean, this guy could play, as I said, he could play anything. And his blues playing was incredible. Blast from the East, Space for the Papa. That's my favorite track on here. Also like a sort of a atmospheric kind of track which just takes off, and then there's this woman who sings blues for the Papa every now and again, and some incredible guitar work. I don't think he's ever released a bad album. Some I just prefer to others. A couple of missteps here and there, but the playing is always exceptional. Hypnotica, Even Odds. And this is produced by Tony Hymas and Jeff Beck. Tony Hymas is part of his band. I think he was on the Guitar Shop album. And the last one I have to show you is an album called You Had It Coming. And those are his hands there after working on one of his hot rods. As I said, that's his other passion. Roy's Toy. It starts off with a hot rod revving the engine. Very cool. Dirty Mind. It does a great version of Rolling on Tumbling. That great cover. Nadia, Loose Cannon, Rosebud, Blackbird, and Suspension. Excellent album. A little different is a lot of these later albums had quite a bit of techno in them. Not techno dance, but just different productions, more up-to-date productions. But it was always Jeff Beck. You could always hear his guitar come through. Not much I can show you in here. Just a few shots of old Jeff looking sultry. Very down-to-earth guy. You know, he doesn't like the whole rock star persona thing. He doesn't do many interviews. He's not into that whole razzmatazz of the rock world, you know. He's not very sort of pizzazz. He just lets the guitar talk, really more into the music than anything else, than the image, which is what I prefer. You know, for me, if you can really do the thing on stage and in the studio, you don't need all those other trappings. But anyway, that's a debate for another day. The only other things I want to show you, as I said, he's released quite a few good DVDs. The one I have is Jeff Beck performing this week live at Ronnie Scott's, that famous club in the UK, and features a really young lady by the name of Tal Winkenfeld on bass, incredible bassist, and Vinnie Kaluuta on drums, excellent. Beck's Bolero, Stratus, Cause We've Ended as Lovers, Behind the Veil, Goodbye Pork Pie Hat, Space Boogie, with Imogen Heap, incredible singer. She's got an amazing voice. Eric Clapton also appears on here on a few tracks, comes up on stage with him, and Joss Stone as well. And in the audience, the camera pans to the audience, and in the audience watching him here is none other than Jimmy Page and Robert Plant, of course from Led Zeppelin, and him and Jimmy being old buddies from the Yardbird days. Excellent DVD. I really recommend this. If you want to see Jeff Beck blow your mind, get this one. And then last but not least, a book that came out, this was a while back. I think this was early 2000s, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, 1998. It's called Crazy Fingers. Really good read, and it takes you right through his whole career. There's no photographs, unfortunately. That's the one downside to the book. But a really good story, and the lady who wrote this book is Annette Carson, and she really gives you the whole story. Well, not quite the whole story, because this book only goes, up to the early 2000s, I think, or 1998. But it gives you the whole discography, all the different albums that he did, the lineup changes at the end, which is really interesting to see and you'll be amazed how many people's albums this guy's appeared on. He's almost like a session muso. And just one of the greatest guitarists ever to come out of the UK, or worldwide really. Very unique style, does his own thing, never followed the pack, which is what I really enjoy. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe down below. Give us a thumbs up. That'll be great. And take it easy out there. We're still going crazy here with the third wave of COVID. But yeah, that's why I just keep myself sane by just listening to music and doing these videos. Take it easy, guys. I'll see you next time. We're probably going to have a look at another great English band by the name of Traffic. And I'll catch you then. Cheers.